So the question today is about imposter syndrome. Okay, if you don't know what that is, imposter syndrome is kind of this feeling that you're not good enough, a feeling that you're an imposter, even if you're getting results and running a business and having some level of success, you still kind of in the back of your head feel like an imposter, and it sort of hurts your progress going forward. You feel like, am I worthy of this? Am I really a professional? Am I really an expert on this? Like, you know what I mean? And so you feel like kind of insecure, and it can, again, it can kind of like hurt your progress as you go forward. So this was a really good question, just sort of like how, do I ever deal with imposter syndrome was the question, and how do I deal with it? I'll start by saying, imposter syndrome, it's just, it's a real tough one to handle. Okay. And in answer to the question directly, yes, I do feel imposter syndrome quite often, actually. And I think there's several factors to it. I think one factor is where you're from, your background. I tend to think that people from poorer backgrounds, people with more pressure on them to perform, with higher expectations from their parents and other outside forces, their teachers and parents, lots of pressure on them basically to achieve all this stuff because they're coming from very little, tend to deal with imposter syndrome a lot more, because there's like, it's almost like you always have your parents or your teachers or whatever it is in the back of your head, kind of like, am I living up to this expectation I was set to, that was set for me. And so it's very, very difficult. I think it does depend a bit on your background, kind of how much you feel this stuff. I have noticed that, people that come from wealthier backgrounds tend to have a bit more confidence and a little more support behind them, for lack of a better way to say it. They just kind of have a lot of support, so they're always feeling supported, so they're just kind of like pushing forward and pushing forward and pushing forward and taking risks because they have some support behind them. People from less fortunate backgrounds generally don't have much support, in a real situation. Like, they don't have money to fall back on. They don't have a rich uncle that they can ask for some help once in a while. It's like they just don't have anything to support them. So they're on their own. They're getting a lot of pressure from the back, pushing them and going, hey, go. You need to achieve this. You need to achieve that. You need to go to college. You need to get great grades. You need to do all these things because you don't want to be poor. You don't want to be like, So it's a lot of pressure to take on. And obviously, I think there are people from wealthier backgrounds who also do feel imposter syndrome a lot, and there's some people from poor backgrounds that just push through and don't feel this. But I think in reality, from my experience and all the people I've met, it seems to be kind of that seems to be a bit of a generalization that I can make, that I've noticed. Another aspect is what stage you're at in your business, or what stage you're at in your career, or whatever. I think when you're first getting started, it's kind of natural, and you haven't gotten a lot of results. Maybe you've had a couple of results, and you're sort of like not really sure how you got them, or you're kind of, You're kind of just like learning and executing, and you're kind of not keeping track of it. It's just sort of happening, and you're kind of like, not really like celebrating the victories very well, because you're kind of like looking for the next victory. It can be a little bit hard. So you might feel sometimes like, I got that result, but was that result really me? Did I really do it right? Should I change it? Is this the path? Am I, whatever, right? So you can have some like insecurity, on the subject of that. And, I think that's pretty natural, especially when you're getting started. You need to kind of establish yourself. You need to get some results. You need some people higher up than you telling you that, you're doing good, that you're, these kinds of things. Like, just that support, again, is so critical. Another point I'll make is that, especially like in client service businesses, like if you're doing like a service business where you're providing a result in a done for you capacity or whatever, it's very easy to be treated as a service provider. It's very easy to be treated as sort of a commodity, especially, freelancer, anything like that, agency. I've experienced that in my career a lot, where people, I'm doing a great job. I mean, in retrospect, I was doing a wonderful job, but I wasn't getting any feedback from them, really. I was asking them for testimonials. I was asking them for, am I doing a great job? Can I get some feedback? And they're just kind of like, you don't really hear back from them. But when there's a problem, they come right to you and they're in your face, and you're like, okay, yes, sir, I'll do anything you say. And you're trying to, make them happy and trying to get them results. So, there's a sense of sort of being treated as sort of a service provider that's just expected to provide results with nothing in return. Just the money is enough. The money should be enough, right? Like, whatever you're getting paid should be enough for you. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's kind of a commoditized position to be in. And so that also like adds to the imposter syndrome, I think, when you're getting results, but you're not really getting positive feedback from the people. You're just kind of like getting results and getting paid some money, but you're like you're not quite there yet. You're not feeling like you're there yet. And, you're seeing other people go past you and you're kind of like, okay, what, am I good? Am I really good at this? So, there's all these aspects, I think. And I think, I covered, the big three right there. Again, I have gone through it. I go through it, as we speak. I don't come from like a super affluent background. And there, was a lot of pressure on me as well. So I do have sometimes even after 15 years of getting results and making money and doing all the things I've done and building businesses and, failing and succeeding and all the things I've done, I still sometimes will sit back and kind of feel like, damn, am I doing the right thing? Am I getting the result? Am I getting the real results I want to get? Am I, whatever. And it's a painful thing, it's like you really want to get over it. So in my opinion, it's totally a mindset thing. So number one, and I'm working on it. I'm getting a lot better with it recently, especially like in the last year or two. I've been, getting a lot better and not experiencing it so much. And I'll tell you kind of what I've been doing. So number one, I like to reflect on my successes, once in a while, like not too much, but I like to if I'm really feeling that way, I like to just try to sit back. Number one, kind of feel grateful for everything that's happened and grateful for everything that I have and that I've achieved. Secondly, kind of reflect on my successes. So kind of try to look back and see those successes and break down why those successes were there and why that was so successful and why those results were so good. Even if I didn't get the feedback I wanted back then, or the client kind of, fired us because we did too good of a job, or whatever the situation is, because that's happened to me too in the past, which is a pretty weird situation. You got a really good result and they fire you because you got such a good result. They don't need you anymore. These kinds of things. So, kind of just like over delivering all the time. So I like to reflect on the successes. I like to think about the mechanics, of why that was successful, why that worked out that time, and try to just sort of break it down a little bit and go, yeah, well, that was mostly because of my willpower, mostly because I hired the right people, mostly because I just had a good mindset about the situation. I just wanted to over deliver, and I did, what needed to be done, and yada, yada. So, kind of reflecting on any successes you have had, whether that's like school stuff, whether that's just like in your life, or whether that's, helping somebody, or, without a return, anything that you've sort of succeeded at, be grateful and try to fill your life with gratitude for what you do have. Keeping in mind that there's a lot of people that don't have what you have, and don't have, even the capacity to think in the way that you're thinking, right? So you're grateful for what you have and what you've achieved. Okay. So gratitude helps me a lot generally, when I feel this way, because it's just like at the end of the day, hey, it could be like 10 times worse, right? So, I should be thankful for where I'm at and for the successes I have achieved. So secondly, second on that list, besides gratitude and reflecting on success, is remembering the journey. Remembering the journey, remembering that this is a journey, that this is not a destination. There is no destination if you had to break down the destination, it's death, right? Ultimately. So, and that's good. That's okay, right? That's all right. We're all going to die. So we have to embrace that. We have to just say, okay, this is a journey. If I'm where I'm wanting to be right now or not, it's okay. It's part of the journey. It's part of my journey. It's part of my unique humanity. It's part of like my mortal self, on this planet going through what I'm going through. So just taking comfort in the fact that, everybody kind of learns and builds and grows at their own pace, and success is different for everybody in their mind, and that destination that we kind of create in our head is not really real. It's more of a mindset. It's more of a state of mind. So there's a journey here. You know what I mean? We have to take it step by step, and we have to try to enjoy it. It's here to enjoy. It's here to learn from and enjoy that learning process. And without learning new things every day, without innovating, without failing, and having to take a step back to take 5 steps forward, you're not really living a full life, to be honest. So real progress and real great things come through struggles. And so, there's this just kind of reassurance you have to have in yourself that, yeah, this is a journey. And that it's okay. I'm on this step in the journey. There's other people that are steps, beyond me, and there's some that are steps, back there somewhere, you know what I mean? That, need help, and we're in the same situation I was in. So I think I take comfort in that, and that helps me also, is just to think that, hey man, somebody's step 100 is not my step 10. Like, it's just different. So I need to like go on my journey. I need to just focus and learn and continue to progress every day a little bit. There's another kind of element of that, I would say, that kind of like syncs with that kind of journey mentality is that is the process, right? Is getting lost in the process. And I talked about this in another video about making goals, that I don't love making like hard goals. I do in a sense, like I like to kind of like use them as sort of relative markers of like sort of what I'm looking to achieve at that given time, given what's around me and blah, 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 blah. But I think even having hard goals, you need to get lost in the process. You can't focus so much on the result that you don't allow yourself to get lost in the process and learn and fail and succeed and all that stuff. The process, the love of the game, the love of what you're doing is in the process. It's not in the result. You know what I'm saying? Like, the result is a result of the process. So realizing that as well, that like, sometimes I think when I have the imposter syndrome, I'm focused too much on the result. I'm thinking like, oh, I need to do this. And again, I think that's that pressure from outside forces that like is telling you that you need to achieve blah, 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 blah. When really you need to look inside yourself and go like, what am I looking to achieve? Okay, great. What do I need to do to achieve that? Okay, something kind of like this, but there's no way you're going to be able to plan that out. I think that there's like a quote that was like, man plans, God laughs or something like that. Or, I always love that kind of mentality, because yeah, you just can't plan for the types of things that are going to happen. You need to be adaptable. You need to be flexible. You need to also be focused, but sometimes there's exceptions to every rule, right? Like, being focused has all kinds of advantages, but being eclectic and having lots of different experiences to pull from also has a lot of advantages. So it's like, you need to kind of go with what you feel and what you, the process that you'd like to follow at that point, and create your own process, because your process is going to be different. This is a problem with taking courses too many times, or taking too many courses rather, is that you kind of think that you can follow the blueprint that this person has laid out, but it's a different person than you. You're going to have to find your own journey, your own process of how you achieve those same results. It's very different for each person, right? So realizing that the love, the passion, the love of the game, the love of the actions that you're taking are in the process, and the process is the sacred thing. The process is what you want to constantly work on and perfect. The result can be there, and you should reflect on that every so often, and write that stuff down and affirm it, or whatever you want to do, however you want to handle it. I mean, back to imposter syndrome, like when you're lost in the process, there is no imposter syndrome. It doesn't exist. You're in the process. You're doing it. You're making it. You're building it, right? So if you're making it and doing it and building, you don't have time to have imposter syndrome, okay? So that's the main thing, is just to keep doing things and keep learning things and keep trying things and experimenting. And experimentation is what's gonna get you there. And yeah, you're gonna fail. Of course, you're gonna fail. Every entrepreneur, every thinker, every doer fails. You know what I mean? And the people that succeed generally have failed more than all the other people that didn't try, right? So those are the people that succeed are actually the ones that fail the most. So keep that in mind and stay in the process and stay in the thing that you're doing and building that thing, rather than sitting there worrying about imposter syndrome. I guess that's one thing that's helped me a lot. Another point that I'll make real quick is helping people. So this is another one that has helped me just unbelievably with imposter syndrome. I mean, this has really been taking me to the next level in my life, where I really am not feeling that pressure so much anymore. It's more of a thing that hits me every so often, and I kind of just have to like do exactly what I'm talking about right now. I have to reflect on the successes. I have to just remember it's all part of the journey, and I have to remember that I'm helping people, and I have to keep my focus on helping people. I have to shift my focus, because the times that I have imposter syndrome, I feel I'm feeling all this pressure. I'm not living up to my expectations or my potential or whatever's been set for me. And I'm forgetting that the journey exists, and I'm thinking I have to be at this end result and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking about money, and I'm thinking about things, and I'm thinking about places, and I'm thinking about nouns and shit, it's all nouns and stuff, right? It's all these like things that I don't have, these things I really wanted, these things, right? These kinds of things. I'm focused on those kinds of things. And then if I zoom out and I think, well, wait a second though, like I'm helping people. Like I'm out here helping people. Like every day I'm helping people. You know what I mean? And like whether you're early in the game and you're providing a service and you're just doing everything you can to get your client results, you're helping that person, right? And you're learning in the process, and you're in the process, and in the process, the intention you have is not to make money, it's to help people, right? It's to help this person make more money. It's to help this person be more efficient. It's to help this person get their time back, you know what I mean? And et cetera, et cetera. Helping people, it really is like a grounding mechanism for me, where I realize that this life is short. You're going to die. And that kind of gratitude that you feel and the successes that you've had, even if they've been very small, giving back to somebody who needs it, helping somebody that's a little bit down from you, from where you are, or a little bit back there in the journey, and helping him skip 3 steps. That's something to be proud of. That's something that can motivate you forward. That's something that can become a purpose in life. Like for me right now, I'm realizing that, helping people is really like my purpose in life. I don't, my life is not, to have things, and to be like living in a certain place with a certain set of stuff and things and crap all around me, right? It's to help people. It's to add value to situations. It's to, bring my expertise to people that need it. And again, too, like the imposter syndrome for me sometimes will kick in when I think, well, shit, man, I'm helping people, but like I can't help certain people. Like some people are like at a stage that I haven't gotten to, so I can't help them get to that stage because I'm not there yet, or something like this, right? And then and that caused me stress for a while, actually, while I was helping people. And I'm going, yeah, but I can't help everybody. How can I? And then I realized, it's like, no, man, you're helping people that are at a stage that you've been at. And, once they reach a certain level, there's other people to help them, right? But like the fact that I can help people even get to that point, is huge, and it makes a big impact on people's lives. And I think also adding to that, like, I think through helping people, you get better, you learn more, you advance everything that you're doing, because your expertise, as you, kind of like concretize, or as you like, make official these things that you've learned and these experiences you've had, as you make those like, crystallize these things so they're real in your mind, and you begin to speak about them and write about them, you learn the intricacies of what you did learn. You start to reflect on things, like I mentioned earlier. You start to see things from a different perspective, and that helps you elevate to the next level, in fact. So in the process of helping people at a certain stage, you actually yourself elevate to a new stage, and then you're able to help more people. And then the bracket of people that you're helping, goes from here to here, and, you'll never drop back down to there. You'll never go back to where you were when you were struggling, you know what I mean? And so you're able to like give more and help more and do that and make a legacy out of that kind of thing, and have purpose in life. So that's kind of like the journey on my end of imposter syndrome, what I feel about imposter syndrome. And if you're feeling imposter syndrome, I will give you, I think there was a lot of actionable advice already, but I'll kind of break it all down. So, number one, you need to assess your past, your personal situation, your family situation. These kinds of things generally are generational. These are not like things that, you're not the first one that in your family probably to feel imposter syndrome, or, to give up or to fail or whatever, or to do those kinds of things. Like, I know in my family, like most of my family didn't go to college. Like they never went through school, right? Like, things like this, you know what I mean? Like this is a generational thing that kind of gets passed down. I also didn't go to school. There's so much in a family situation and in a past situation that you're not perceiving. It's in your subconscious. It's things that were like beat into you when you were very young and you don't remember them, but they're in your mind informing your stuff. So this is where, self-reflection, this is where mindset, this is where just kind of like, not trying to like figure out why all that stuff is happening, not try to blame anybody for it. It's more just to explore it, be aware of it, and be able to sort of have a voice in your head that goes against that other voice at some point, right? Like it sounds kind of funny, but just, every time you're feeling that imposter syndrome that is kind of ingrained in you from those expectations that were set from you, that were put in your head from your parents that were like, struggling or whatever. And then you have another voice in your head though, and you can see yourself from kind of the third person and separate yourself from that that self, you know what I mean, and be able to look at your real self and say, hey man, I'm limitless, like I can do anything I want. That's just like something that was in my subconscious. I need to combat that and kind of like get past that, right? And be able to like sort of unlearn a lot of things and kind of leave your past behind as much as humanly possible, really. And, you know, if you can, you know, I think there's a lot of us that, there's a lot of trauma in our lives and things like this, and this informs our subconscious decisions and our insecurities and all these kinds of things. So first you need to dive into your own personal organism and your own past and your own family, and you need to analyze it from a third party. You need to not be so like inside of it to where you're not seeing like, because the fact is, when you're a kid, your mom and dad are like your world. They're the only thing that exists, or whatever, or your mom or your dad, whatever you had, your uncle, your grandma, whatever that authority figure was, that's all you had, right? Like that's your entire universe. So, you know, like you don't know any better, you know, anything they say, it's fact. But as you start to grow older, you start to realize, hey man, that's not really fact, right? Like they were under a certain amount of pressure and a certain amount of trauma too, and they're like passing this down to you as fact. So you need to be able to remove yourself from the situation and be able to kind of see yourself objectively and say to yourself, hey, that's incorrect. My parents were incorrect on that. That's not true. There is no scarcity. There's only abundance. I can get anything I want. I can do anything I want if I put my mind to it. So not all of us had parents saying that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? You're very lucky if your parents gave you that kind of background. So, for those of us that had like kind of, you know, more difficult upbringings or, more scarcity mindset in the family and things like this, you know, you want to break those chains, you know what I mean, immediately. So that's number one, is reflect on that. I think number two, you want to, start to see this as a journey. You want to start to see this as, an ongoing thing. You want to keep your death close to you and realize that you're going to die, that you're not living forever. This isn't like you're not going to get to this plateau, to this result, and then it's over, it's so great, and you just get to exist, you know. This is a journey where you're just learning as much as you possibly can, and then you will die. So, and you want to pass as much of that on to other people and help as many other people as you possibly can, in their journey, you know, before you ultimately, die and go into the next phase of whatever you're going to go into. Depending on what you believe there. Personally, I believe that, you know, you're definitely coming back and you're definitely doing this again. So it's, and the things you do now inform that next step. So, it's very important that, you know, that you learn as much as humanly possible and you sort of like have some mastery and some purpose in your life, so that you feel good. Another piece of advice, you know, once you're kind of feeling that, you know, get lost in the process, realize that, these results, you know, these courses that sell you, hey, make $10,000 in 5 days following this exact blueprint, you know, 90% of people are not going to get that result in that amount of time, you know what I mean, with that exact blueprint, because they're different kinds of people with different kinds of mindsets and different kinds of skills and things like this. And you're just on a different journey than everyone else. You're on a unique journey. So realize that and get lost in your own process. You know, learn what you like to do, learn what you don't like to do. Fail at things so you can go and succeed at other things. You know, do what you need to do, and just, if you're interested in something, dive into it. You know, don't feel like you need to plan everything out and this is going to be this whole thing. Get started somewhere, right? And then you can always perfect it. You can always get better as you go. As time goes, you can improve, right? And that result that you're after will change too. And everything is always changing in life. So, keep that in mind and get lost in the process. You know, remember that the process is what gets the results. You know, you can't just like say, I want to get that result and then follow a step by step and go, wait, I didn't get what the hell, you know? So, you know, that process is what yields results. So get lost in the process, learn to love the process, learn to love the journey, and embrace where you are right now and have gratitude for what you do have, right? Because chances are you probably have more than somebody else in the world has. So, you know, be thankful for what you have and take every step with full confidence in yourself and the fact that you can achieve anything you want in this world. It's really just up to your mindset, up to your learning, up to your skills, up to your experiences, and you know what your passion is and what you're willing to do and what your what your ultimate goal for success is. And last thing I'll say is help people, man. Always focus on helping people more than anything else. Don't focus on the money, because the money isn't something in and of itself. Money is just paper and money is just numbers, and it's a good tracking method, but it's nothing really more than that. It's just numbers, right? Money doesn't actually mean anything unless we make it mean something. And the way you make it mean something as a service provider, for example, or an agency owner or a freelancer, is to help people, add value, give people value. And if you just focus on giving people value, and that means helping them, helping their organization, helping them as people, that's where you're going to find success. Because if you focus on helping people, you're going to do the things that are necessary to actually help them, and you're not going to just be in it for a fast dollar or a fast gain, and that short-term gain doesn't mean much in the long term. Whereas helping people will compound, and it'll make you feel better, and it'll get rid of your imposter syndrome little by little. It'll also make you a better expert. It'll make you a better service provider. It'll make you a better mentor. It'll make you a better whatever you're trying to be. It'll just make you better because you're crystallizing all of that experience and that information into something real and tangible, and then you're sharing it with people in order to help them. So I hope this video was helpful. It's a really deep topic. I don't know that I covered everything related to this. I tried to kind of go into the things that I believe are important. Obviously, you have to explore all this for yourself. Everything is unique to you. You are a unique human being. You are an individual. Always remember that. You are not part of some crowd or some society or something. You yourself are an individual with your own individual power, your own individual vision, and it's different than anybody else. Okay, you're not like anyone else on this world. So embrace that. Keep that close to you, and embrace that, and just realize that this imposter syndrome, it truly is. It truly is just a product of some insecurity and some lack of feedback and lack of support and these kinds of things. So realize that if you support yourself, if you believe in yourself, if you actually have confidence in yourself, and you can achieve anything, then there is no imposter syndrome. So if you like this video, if this was helpful at all, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video, share this with somebody. Hopefully it gives them some motivation to get through it. And really, that's all I hope for this video, is that just gives you some points. It's not a comprehensive, psychological epic guide here. It's really just an overview, but I hope it gave you some actionable steps to be able to deal with this kind of situation and push through and get all the success and get all the things that you're looking to achieve in your life. Okay. Again, thank you so much for watching, and look forward to the next video.